After 5 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. For the winner, by unanimous decision, and undisputed UFC Middleweight Champion of the world!
Israel Adesanya's title fight against Dricus Du Plessis on August 17th at 3:05 is the most undeserved title shot in the past 5 years.
And that was overwhelmingly
30,000 likes.
It is one of the least deserved. He just
the
lost.
most undeserved.
He lost
in
within
5
a year
years.
ago. We were talking about this outside. So in the last 3 years, he's lost once every year. Like, he's not like this incredible undefeated. It's not like Anderson Silva losing at the end of his 7-year win streak. It's not GSP if he lost to Johnny Hendricks and demanding an immediate title shot. He already had an immediate title shot literally just before Strickland. So I don't think it's that, like, is it the worst? That might be a bit of hyperbole, but what's number 2?
Well, I don't think that one's number 1 for a start.
Yeah.
So Covington, I think, was the one that we brought up
Covington's
earlier.
a pretty bad
so
one.
outside of Covington, what else even comes
Jorge
to mind?
Masvidal's second shot at Usman.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty unwarranted. He'd lost. He got dominated by Usman, and then a year later he gets another shot. How about every title shot Holly Holm has ever got? Apart from the first one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Those are all pretty.
I mean, you can't.
Nothing else going on.
Like I said,
there,
there's
is
probably
there?
some hyperbole because you can't trust Twitter because Twitter's always tainted with what that person likes. So if they don't like Izzy or they found him boring or whatever, they might not want to see him in there again, which is fine. But I think it's a mistake to not consider the fact that this fight was always meant to happen. Is that Du Plessis felt it was.
That's not how that works.
Yeah.
Nothing's meant to happen.
But it does. If
you lose, it
in the
messes up
business-
those plans.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
but
because it
in
was
the
supposed to be
business-
Dricus versus Izzy, but Dricus dropped out,
Yeah.
right? So it
And
was
then he
supposed
was
to
lost.
booked.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was booked and it was supposed
But
to happen.
making-
That's
And
what
then
he was
but
saying.
then he lost.
But-
That's the point. Like,
making business, it's the money fight. Israel is one of the biggest stars
do
they
you
have.
own the UFC?
No, but I'm saying this is why it's probably being made, is the fact that it makes money and there was such a heated rivalry going into it. So that's why they're going back
Well, I
to
think
it
that's
now.
what people are complaining about. Money is one of the most dubious reasons. The worst title shot probably ever is Brock Lesnar versus Randy Couture when he was 1-1. He ended up winning that fight, but he definitely would have lost to Kane and JDS if he fought them as they were just both starting in the UFC as well. Like, there's no way he would have made
You
it.
can't
up
tell
the
me
ladder.
they gave Chael Sonnen a title shot just for money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
Big time.
that's the point. It's like we know it's about money. We all know that, and most people kind of have a bad taste in their mouth for it being just about money.
But who else right now is available?
Well, Sean Strickland is the answer. Most people are going to jam in your face.
But after seeing that fight, are people excited for Sean Strickland? Why not have Sean have a break, come back with something new afterwards?
Well, let me say this. I'm critiquing it, but I also agree with his booking because I think it's pretty much the only viable option for the reasons that you're bringing up. Because, it's like, you already want to see Sean Strickland again? I think Strong.
Well, also, Sean just had an incredibly boring fight against Costa. Imavov and Cannonier also just fought, so they're not available. Rob Whittaker's fighting this weekend. And leave Sean, but he's not. It's only been a couple of weeks since.
I don't have a problem with it. I think it's a great fight. Yeah. I wanted to see it the first time. Now they've booked it.
But also, who doesn't want Adesanya's name on their record? I think for a lot of people, it completely validated Sean Strickland. Forget about Sean's style and problems it causes, but he beat Adesanya in that fight. He dropped him in the first round, and he did really well.
I mean, to some extent, I think what this fight is just kind of running it back because it was, in a sense, like Dricus probably to cement himself as, the leader of the pack did need to beat the best middleweight champion that the division has had for the last 5 years. So
who else would it be? If we're just going through this, minus Imavov and Brendan Allen out of the top 10, Roman Dolidze just entered top 10. All of those people have already lost to Izzy.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a weird one. It's either too soon to fight for a title or not quite there.
Some of them have lost him twice.
Short win streaks.
Well, that's the really sad thing about the Chimaev dropping out of the fight with Robert Whittaker.
Yeah.
Like, Chimaev was about to put himself, if he could beat Whittaker, right in the fucking fold there
100%,
with the best of the boys at the top. So it's such a goddamn shame.
Yeah, because Alaskarov could still do that as well because he's looking really good. I know he's not the Chimaev like the show we get with him.
If
but
he destroys Whitaker, number 3, you're
still
right.
Because DDP got on notice when he beat Whitaker like he did. Before that, everyone knew he was a contender, knew he was serious, but he kind of looked a bit dodgy in some areas. Just because he looks a bit awkward and he got gassed, but he still has these weird fights.
It's just like, what is it, top 10 fight styles that shouldn't work but do? And he's like, what? How did he rank on that list?
High.
He ranked high, yeah. So
he was on the thumbnail.
So did Strickland.
Yeah. Will and heart for that guy.
So, and then when he knocks out Whitaker, that people don't do, then that's what put him on notice. That's what got him the title shot, and that's what made us excited to see him become champion. However, I feel like if he goes in there against Izzy and loses, we're just going to see Strickland too, right? Straight away, surely.
And that's why I don't think it's a disaster if Izzy wins. I think it's Izzy, like we said, he's being put in this situation because he probably is the biggest star in the division, even still after those losses to Pereira and Jan and now Strickland. I think he's still the biggest star in the division. So if he does that and then he gets a rematch with Strickland, there's going to be so much intrigue, especially if he looks good in this, that, maybe we'll see the Adesanya we thought we'd see in the first fight.
How much did Adesanya fight as well prior to his loss to Sean Strickland? How active was he as a champion?
It was something like I think with the Strickland fight, it was like something like 4 times in like 17 months or something like that, or something.
I mean, that is an active champion. So, I mean, again, the argument's there for, it's the most undeserved, UFC championship shot in the life. I mean, it's a little bit unfair because the dude was performing for the UFC. He was performing for the fans. And sure, a lot of those performances weren't probably what everyone wanted from him, but at least he was turning up.
I don't know how you can say that.
He had like 5 fights in 15 months.
I mean, Covington just sat out for that entire period.
Yeah.
To be fair to him, he was the backup for the 286 card as well. So he was kind of like I don't think he deserved the title shot at all, but it wasn't like he was just like sitting on the couch the entire time.
Yeah, he was doing a lawsuit, Jason. That requires a lot of effort, and I understand that.
He has brain damage.
It is crazy to me that Ikram, if we go back to the rankings real quick, it's crazy to me that Ikram is getting this chance against Rob, because I look at the middleweight division and I see out of all the divisions, it's one of the ones that's like got the most contenders in it. Like Hernandez is doing really well. Michel Pereira is on a win streak. Carl Borralho is undefeated. Hamzat Chimaev is still undefeated. And then you go up, you got Brendan Allen up there. And obviously Imavov is right up there as contendership. So there's so many guys.
You're not going to mention Jack Manson,
who in a year could fight for that title. And Ikram, if he beats Rob, is just going to skip past 4 contenders.
This is the most undeserving last notice replacement ever.
Yeah. I like the Aliskerov inclusion in this fight. I think it's good that Rob's still fighting because Rob's actually being really active as well, which he kind of wasn't for a little bit. He was kind of doing the yearly thing, but he's fought like 3 times or in a short span.
If Rob wins this fight, do you think like he's done enough to get another title shot then?
Depends who the champion is.
Yeah.
I think the winner of that was kind of aligned to be the next title shot, so I think it makes sense.
We've not seen Rob versus Sean, have we? And that's a great fight. That's one of the only fights we haven't seen. So that lines up. We might end up getting that anyway if Rob wins.
I mean, yeah, I guess getting back to that question, is it the most undeserved? I don't think it's great, but I also think it's a symptom of the division right now as well. It's like there isn't, like if we did have this fight with Hamzat next week, they probably would have just waited to book, I think that's the irony of it, though. It's like, you can complain about it all day, but I think if you polled most people, who do they think is going to win, you probably are going to say Izzy. So that's kind of one of the interesting sides of it. I think I would favor Izzy.
Are the odds out for Dricus versus Adesanya? If he's the fucking favorite over the champion, is that undeserving? When literally everyone is choosing Adesanya. So take rankings out of it. Imagine they were just a pool of challengers in and amongst themselves. If you're going to pick people out and go, okay, who's deserving, who's undeserving, having a knockout win over the current light heavyweight champion who's dominating that division means something.
The last guy
he's only lost in the UFC as well.
Devastating knockout. Something that will live forever.
I don't know, man. It's like an interesting one. It's like, is that a good enough reason to get a title shot if you think they would win?
Favorite.
Yeah, so it's a slight favorite.
According to BetOnline.
BJPen.com.
I think some of Adesanya's best performances is when he has like skin in the game, when he has something to prove. Like he doesn't like this guy. He made it personal about the whole African thing. And then that whole beef got built up. So I think he performs best when he has those things to latch onto. I feel like that investment...
Are you a psychologist?
No, that investment is really important, seemingly, to Izzy in his career. Because like with Costa, he cleared the guy out at a time where Costa looked fantastic. But because it was personal, he said, I'm going to make it look easy, and he did. So, this reinvestment in this fight, why wouldn't you book it, like you said? Because there is that storyline built in for it.
Do you think they asked DDP who he wants to fight?
Probably, yeah.
And do you think if they did
I think
ask
he
him,
wanted him.
he would have said Izzy?
Yeah.
Then why is everyone fucking complaining? That guy's a champion, all right?
Because he's
champions
don't
call
like
for
him.
ridiculous
Yeah, I know.
fights all the
There's
time.
loads
Like
of reasons
Tyron
to
Woodley wanted
complain.
Nick Diaz
Yes, I
after
know.
5
Yeah,
years of
hey.
retirement.
When this comes around, everyone's going to fucking love it. If they haven't changed their energy, keep the same vibe and all that, if they haven't changed that up, and it's fucking, they're insulting each other and they're getting each other's face and it's like really heated and sick, it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. Everyone's going to love it. Everyone's going to tune in. Everyone's going to watch it because it's exciting. People are bored of Adesanya just jabbing and low kicking. They want something exciting from him. DDP's there to give that aggression, to be the best. So it's going to be an amazing watch that we all need.
If I'm the UFC, fuck yeah, I'm making Izzy because it's a business, right? Me as a fan, though, I'm going to say wait just one more week and book the winner of Alaskarov
But the
and
winner,
Whitaker.
yeah. If Adeskarov got the shot right now, though, do you not think there would be a similar conversation? That he's like,
Well, he'd beat number 3.
I know,
And he's on a tremendous
we've seen
win
that
streak.
previously. Like Wonderboy beats Johnny Hendricks and goes straight to the title. I'm not saying that's not deserved if you actually beat the top guy, but it's like, what about all those other dudes? That
Well,
have,
Alex Pereira literally had that
What's
happen.
but like, what about all those other
from
dudes, man?
This weekend to 3:06 in
305.
05.
So it's 2 months.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a
It might be
tight
too
turnaround
soon, yeah.
for either of those guys. But also, if it's a big win and it's a quick win as well from either of them, and they take no damage, and you go, yeah, fuck yeah, I want to turn around and fight in Perth. You know, you could put Whitaker in there.
If you were to see Robert Whitaker beat Alaskarov, especially on the stakes of this fight now with the last-minute opponent change, I think so much of that crowd, it's going to be in his
Would
home
you like
country
to see that
get behind that.
rematch, though, with Dricus and Whitaker?
For me personally, I don't think I would, but I think that he would at least be on a couple fights, and I think that's what the major argument in that Twitter post is being made, is like somebody at least coming off a win who's earned another title shot, and I think that's the argument that people are making, that is he not having a win? Yeah, all in all, I'm not crazy about the fight being booked from a meritocratic standpoint, but I do recognize it's the biggest fight in the division, and there is really nobody else. We could run the Sean Strickland fight back right away, but I'm not super into that.
Well, lads, well, you know, if you want to support us here on the channel, you can do that by joining the membership for as little as $2.99. You can get 2 pods a week. How about that, lads?
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll record 2 pods a week for the members.
Why is it? That seems really insincere.
I don't understand the meaning of the word.
Insincere.
Nope.
Okay.